Welcome to this explainer. You know, if you've ever watched a DanceSport competition, you already know the dancing itself is just breathtaking. But right beneath all the hairspray, the fake tans, and the shimmering sequence, there's actually a cold, hard reality of complex mathematical algorithms at play. The scoring system can honestly sometimes feel like you're trying to decipher an ancient language. So our goal today is to finally demystify DanceSport scoring. By the time we finish, whether you're a fierce competitor sweating it out on the floor or an enthusiastic spectator cheering from the stands, you'll be able to easily track and understand exactly how couples progress from heat to heat.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the mystery of scoring. Second, making sense of marks. Third, calculating the placements. Fourth, surviving the callback cut. And finally, the winning competitor strategy.
Section 1. The mystery of scoring. Understanding the system.
Picture this. You're sitting by the floor, the music fades, the MC announces the results, and you immediately ask yourself, wait, why did that couple advance? It's a hugely relatable question that literally every single spectator, and certainly every dancer, asks at least once. Dance is, at its core, a qualitative art, right? It involves technique, timing, posture, and styling. Yet, underneath the rhinestones and the glamour, there's a strict, structured judging method working to turn all those artistic assessments into hard mathematical results.
To make sense of that math, we really need to clearly define the two fundamental concepts that drive the entire system. First up, we have marks. A mark is essentially a single judge's numeric ranking, or score, for a couple's placement within a specific round. Second, we have callbacks. Callbacks are the process of selecting a subset of couples to advance to the next stage of the competition, completely based on those marks. Understanding how these two distinct pieces fit together, well, that's the absolute key to following why a couple moves up, drops down, or makes it all the way to the final.
Moving on to Section 2, making sense of marks, inside the judge's mind.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the actual mental checklist judges use to assign their marks. I mean, they aren't just randomly picking whoever smiles the brightest. They're critically evaluating overall quality relative to the other competitors out there on the floor. They look for musicality, they watch for the accuracy of the figures being danced, they're constantly evaluating frame and alignment, partner connection, and of course, execution consistency. Basically, they take all of these qualitative artistic elements and synthesize them down into one single numeric mark for that round.
But hey, before you start cheering for a high number on a scoreboard, a quick word of caution here. You've got to always check the rulebook for the specific scoring sheet being used. Depending on the rule set, especially in placement-based systems, a lower mark actually represents a higher preference. So getting a 1 from a judge is usually exactly what you want. Always know the specific scoring system of the event you're attending.
All right, Section 3, calculating the placements, aggregating the marks.
When organizers calculate these results, most events use what's called a positional, or placement aggregation approach. This system heavily favors couples with consistent marks. A couple's overall placement improves significantly when they receive relatively strong marks that align across multiple judges. Contrast that with split marks. If a couple has wildly inconsistent scores, say some judges place them highly while others place them far lower, they'll often land right in the middle of the overall ranking. The mathematical aggregation explicitly reduces the impact of any single judge's outlier opinion.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that plays out in reality. Let's walk through an example. Couple B received a perfect 1 from Judge 1, which, feels great. But Judges 2 and 3 gave them a 5 and a 6. That's a severely split mark, which pulls their final aggregated result way down to a mid or low placement. Now look at Couple A. They didn't get any perfect 1s, but they got a 2, and a 3. That tight, consistent agreement among the panel earns Couple A a much higher overall placement. Consistent alignment beats a single judge's perfect score every time.
Section 4. Surviving the callback cut. Who advances?
Let's move to and see how this builds throughout a multi-round event. Chronologically, the callback flow looks a bit like this. Step 1, you have the initial rounds where the judges observe the heats and assign their individual marks. Step 2, the aggregation happens behind the scenes, and the overall placements are calculated based on that consistency we just talked about. And Step 3, the callback list is generated. Officials use those aggregated rankings to determine which top couples advance. You see, earning a callback simply means a couple had the best overall results from the judged rounds. Callbacks basically take that raw scoring data and translate it into a clear competitive bracket. It's an earned progression. However, the reward for getting a callback is that the couple now gets to dance again, but this time under even higher scrutiny, in a much more direct comparison setting against a concentrated pool of top-tier talent.
So if you're ever checking the scoreboard, trying to figure out exactly why you did or didn't advance, you kind of need to play detective. Don't just stare at the numbers, ask these practical questions. Was the callback based on just one single round? Or were the marks cumulative across multiple dances? Does this specific scoring sheet favor lower or higher marks? What are the exact tiebreak rules if couples have the same aggregated score? And if couples danced more than once in the same stage, were those marks averaged or totally recomputed? These little details, which are usually buried in the published rules, hold the real answers to your advancement.
Section 5. The winning competitor strategy. A winning approach.
Because callback systems and aggregation mathematics specifically reward consistency across the entire judging panel, your physical strategy on the floor must adapt. You have to emphasize repeatable quality over flashy inconsistency. Having clean technique, a stable frame, accurate timing, and disciplined execution throughout the entire full dance, that is what generates strong, consistent marks. That reliability will consistently win out over a couple that has, one moment of flashy brilliance, but then falls apart out of frame a few seconds later.
So the crucial point is summarized perfectly in this quote from our source material. Marks convert expert judgment into ranking, and callbacks use those rankings to determine progression. It's brilliant because this framework elegantly bridges the gap between the subjective, qualitative art of ballroom dance and the objective, rigorous reality of a competition bracket. It genuinely makes the entire process far less mysterious.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to take away. Mastering the score sheet is just as important as mastering the dance steps. You can have the absolute most breathtaking routine in the venue, but if your delivery is inconsistent across the judges panel, the math simply will not favor you. So, dancers, knowing that the system is literally programmed to reward repeatable quality, how will you alter your physical dancing strategy before your next heat? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep dancing.